Good Tuesday evening, South Carolina weather watcher. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson. Let's go in and talk about the weather for your Tuesday evening going into your future. We have some stuff to talk about tonight. You can see on the screen right now, this is going to be the main thing that we're going to talk about, being how will the weather that we have going into tonight, going all the way into tomorrow and New Year's Day, how will that impact the firework launches and for anybody who's going to go see fireworks? Now, we do in fact have a poll inside of the chat right now. I said, will you be watching or will you be launching any fireworks? And so far, everybody says no. Some people say they will probably watch. It's probably some other people launch theirs, but nobody has said yes that they're going to be the main ones launching it. So interesting to see. Interesting to see. We'll go on and talk about all of that tonight and how the weather will impact that. Now, before we get into that, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Right now, we are at 600. I don't know why I keep on thinking I'm all the way back at 500 subscribers. 646 subscribers. Trying to get to that main goal of 700. We are 4 subscribers away from that halfway mark of 650, and we are around 54 away from that main goal of 700 subscribers. We're getting closer and closer and closer. Let's just keep it pushing and see what happens there. Now, that's in terms of subscribers. Also, share with all the people that you know. Share it with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances. Share it with people you don't like. Share it with somebody that you went to the fireworks store to buy some fireworks and the person rang you out, or you can show it to somebody else who is buying fireworks. It doesn't matter. Anybody. Just share it with somebody so they can go on and get some valuable weather information. Now let's go on and talk about what are we going to be talking about tonight. Well, obviously the firework forecast. We also will be talking about what's going on currently throughout the state of South Carolina, and also what's going to happen as we go into tonight, going into tomorrow. We also will talk about the short-term future. We'll talk about the long-term future, and then we also will talk about just our stuff for the future in terms of our patterns, in terms of our temperatures. Will there be a warming trend? We'll have a bit of a warming trend as we go into this weekend. We'll see an increased rain chance as we go into Saturday night, going into Sunday. We'll talk about all of that. So let's go on and talk about what is currently going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And as you can see right now, absolutely nothing. It is nice and dry right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina. Now, what's going on in terms of the entire United States of America? Well, right now, snowfall definitely is ongoing from New York over into the Great Lakes region of Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, going on in Pennsylvania as well. And then maybe even a chance for some snowfall over here as well, over here in Vermont and eastern North Dakota. But other than that, though, it looks relatively dry. I see maybe some sleet going on up there in northern Washington. But for the most part, like I said, that's all that's happening right now. So let's go on back now towards our cloud cover. Cloud cover right now, we do have some cloud cover going on up there inside the upstate, but other than that, everybody else looks nice and clear right now, and I'm not really seeing anything in terms of heavy cloud cover activity. Cloud cover for the future. Let's go on and see what this has to show. So we're going to go back right here. Here's 9 o'clock p.m. Go ahead and push this forward. Cloud cover up there in the upstate. Not shocked, not surprised at all. We continue this further even more. And just as we continue, this is now 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And it looks like cloud cover may be trying to get in a little bit in the Grand Strand, the PD areas. But again, mainly clear. Then some cloud cover maybe trying to move a bit into the upstate. Here's 4 o'clock p.m. right here tomorrow, going all the way into around 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And then as we go all the way to 10 p.m., we have this cloud cover right here that is ongoing over in, now going in like that northern part of the state. We go all the way to around 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. This is New Year's Day right here, so most people will probably be up by this time. But 12 o'clock in the morning here on New Year's Day, cloud cover is still going on throughout a good amount of the state. And so, again, we'll talk about what all of that has to do with fireworks. Now, cloud cover doesn't really have to do too much unless they're low to the ground. But like I said, we'll get to that in just a second. Going all the way through to 6 o'clock in the morning kind of goes away a little bit more. And then as you go throughout the day on New Year's Day, it kind of gets back to that mainly clear atmosphere. Now, in terms of current temperatures right now, 34 in Somerville as well as 39 in Charleston, 41 in Beaufort, and even around 35 in Orangeburg, 36 in Georgetown and Aiken, and even around 38 in Murray's Inlet, 39 in Myrtle Beach, and 38 inside of North Myrtle Beach. We also do have around a good 43 over there near Hilton Head Island, 35 inside of Conway, and 34 in Florence, 34 in Hartsville, and 32 in Lugoff, 36 in Columbia, and 30 inside of Rock Hill, 31 in York, and 30 in Gaffney, 31 in Spartanburg, and 30 in Greenville, 33 in Clemson, and 34 inside of Anderson, 33 in Greenwood, and I believe that's about all the locations there that I really see. Now, low temperatures for tonight, you have around a good 26 in Greenville, 26 in Spartanburg, and even 26 in Rock Hill, 28 Anderson, and 27 in Greenwood, 28 in Winsboro and Camden, and Columbia, even around a good 27 in Sumter, 26 in Florence and Girard, and even around 28 in Orangeburg, 26 in Walterboro, and 27 in Moncks Corner, 27 in Georgetown, and 30 Myrtle Beach, 32 in Charleston, and 34 in Hilton Head Island. And if we even go into tomorrow, high temperatures for tomorrow for our Wednesday, you have around 51 in Greenville and Anderson, 52 in Spartanburg, 50 in Rock Hill, and even 51 in Winsboro, 53 in Columbia, and 52 in Camden, 53 also inside of Sumter, and 52 Florence, 52 in Kingstree, and 52 inside of Moncks Corner, and 54 over there near Walterboro, 54 inside of Charleston, and 52 in Myrtle Beach. Now, rainfall as we go throughout the next 24 hours or so, rainfall is indeed not going to be a threat as we go throughout the next 24 hours, so at least it's going to be dry if you're going to do some fireworks, or if you know anybody that's going to be doing fireworks, or if you're watching it, it's going to be dry as we go throughout the next 24 hours or so. And so as we go into the crazy score for tonight, if you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how crazy the weather is inside of the state of South Carolina, and right now we're at a 30. Why are we at a 30? Well, seems like obviously due to these cold temperatures that will definitely be a pretty big concern. Actually, let me see that. That's actually supposed to be a 35. So let me go in and increase that a little bit. 35 there. And so the reason why it's not lower end moderate, noticeable widespread freeze, stressing of pipes, plants, pets, very dry air, but no wind / rain / storm amplification, anything like that. And so that's why we're inside of that moderate category right now. And so as we continue our way through, obviously you're definitely tomorrow morning, or tonight just in general, going into tomorrow morning, most likely going to need a coat with you if you are going out. Make sure that you also, like it said, pets, bring them inside. Plants, bring them inside of a garage, or put them somewhere kind of like near maybe the little interior part of your house. It's kind of hard to explain, but some houses have it to where you have a little bit of a divot that kind of goes inside of the house a little bit, that's kind of almost enclosed. That might be an area, especially if there's some wind or some wind chill as well, to where it can block it from that wind. If you don't have a garage, or if you don't want to bring it inside the house, that's another way. Or cover it up with a blanket or anything like that. That also would work. Also, make sure that you go on and drip pipes. If you need to open up the cabinets, let some heat get towards the pipes. All of that definitely should be utilized as you go into tonight. Because if I already go on and look at my live temperatures right now, that's the audience. But right here, it's already 32 degrees at my house. Already 32 degrees. And so that's at 9:15 p.m. So it's going to get lower. It's going to get lower. What about any sort of thunderstorm activity? Well, thunderstorm activity for tonight, not expected. Tomorrow, same thing. Thursday, same thing. No thunderstorm activity is expected here. Excessive rainfall, same thing. Nothing here in terms of excessive rainfall. So now let's go in and talk about the models. We're going to go and talk about the short term first, and we'll go and talk about the long term. But if we go on right here and look at it, 9 o'clock p.m. tonight, you push this forward all the way through, and we stay nice and dry going to tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock p.m., nice and dry, going all the way into 11 p.m., 12 a.m. on January the 1st, nice and dry, and then you continue this all the way through to 7 o'clock p.m. on New Year's Day, going into the evening, nice and dry. So we stay dry for the next 48 hours. But that segues me into my part of the one of the main points is, will this weather impact firework launches? Will this weather impact firework launches? And so we're going to go on and talk about that right now. And so the first thing that I do want to look at is, obviously we saw the precipitation. No precipitation there was occurring. And so that's something that could definitely help those fire conditions. That's something that can definitely help just the dryness overall. And so you continue on and go on and look at the fire weather outlook for tonight. Now, there probably are people launching fireworks tonight. And I said it this morning. Make sure that you are careful with these fireworks, because if something happens and they catch fire, definitely it could cause a spread. It can definitely cause a fire, and it can spread possibly quickly. And it just matters on, the type of area it's in and what it lands on. But for the most part, that's the reason why we have this elevated risk out. Now, you continue all the way through, because it's not just for tonight. Not just for tonight. What about tomorrow? Well, if we go in and look at tomorrow's forecast, what would you guess? It's almost the exact same thing. Fire weather conditions are elevated as we going into tomorrow evening. And so that will set up, again, another potentially dangerous environment for if fireworks do happen to go on and catch fire, or if they do, or something goes wrong in general. And we can go on and look at the ingredients with that as well. We go on right here. We start this off at 9 o'clock p.m. And look at these dew points. These are not temperatures. These are dew points. This just shows how dry the atmosphere is. The lower the number is, the more dry it is. The higher the number is, the more moist the atmosphere is. And so you continue this all the way forward. This is 5 o'clock in the morning here. Times in the top right corner of your screen, same thing. And this is 1 o'clock p.m. Look at still how dry it is. Going into 7 o'clock p.m. Still dry. To 9 o'clock p.m. Still dry. To 12 o'clock in the morning, still dry, with those numbers all the way down in the teens. Some in the 20s, but most in the teens. And not only will that be a factor, but as well as the wind. If we go on right here and look at these winds right here, this goes for peak wind gusts from Wednesday. Now, this goes from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but you could stretch it out a little bit more going into around 12 o'clock in the morning. And plus, 7 p.m. is relatively dark, and some people may light fireworks at 7 o'clock p.m. at that time. But you can see wind gusts all the way up to 23, up to possibly 25 miles per hour up there inside the upstate. You have set around 15 to 20 over there in the low country. You have around a good 10 to 15 over there in the Petey, Grand Strand areas. And then over there inside of the Midlands, around a good 20 miles per hour. 20 plus. And so those are wind gusts as you go into tomorrow. And so we'll have a more updated view as we go into tomorrow morning. And when that video comes out, I'll talk about the specifics there. But this is something that you definitely, if you are doing any sort of firework launches, pretty much long story short, you just have to be careful with it. You got to make sure that you are cautious with it and that you know what you're doing when you go in and start. But like I said, nobody inside the chat, it seems like everybody says that they're not launching any fireworks, so I might be talking to nobody, but if there is one person who didn't vote, and I don't know, maybe you just got set up to light fireworks for the people who are watching, and then you end up launching fireworks tomorrow for just some reason. You never know. Just make sure that you're careful with it, because obviously we do not want any fires to spread, anything like that. And so that's my whole segment on that done. So let's go on and talk about the long-term future. Let's go on and back to the models. And with times in the top right corner of your screen, as always, you want to push this forward even more. there goes our rainfall that we were looking at. I was saying that we would get some more rainfall as we go into this weekend. This is right here on January the 3rd, 1 o'clock in the morning. Rainfall is starting to move into the more western parts of the state and will continue to move its way over into the east. You push this forward, this now goes all the way into January the 3rd at 7 o'clock p.m. And look, it's still raining. So it could potentially be raining for most of the day on Saturday. That's your heads up. That's your heads up. It could potentially be raining for a good amount of the day on Saturday. So if you have anything you have to get done outside, Saturday right now is not looking like the best day right now. And maybe even Friday evening up there inside the upstate, it might be raining as well. But again, once we get closer, we'll get some more details on it. But for right now, Saturday just does not look like a good weather day in terms of rainfall. And Sunday, it seems to try and clear up. Sunday does clear up a little bit right here on January the 4th, 1 o'clock p.m. right here. Look at how dry it is now. And you continue that forward all the way through. And we stay dry for a good amount of time going into January the 10th, going into the 11th, going into the 12th even as well. And it just looks like that we will have a dry remainder period after that whole amount of rainfall tries to move its way through on the 3rd. I mean, just look at how dry it's going to be during this time frame. If you want to go in and see it even more, if we go in and check out the precipitation for the 24-hour increment, after we get past those 24 hours, just look at how dry it's going to get all the way through. Yes, you will see some rainfall here and there, probably, possibly. But for the most part, for 300 plus hours out, too far out. But this seems to be almost like a drier period right here. Now, I'm not really seeing anything. But here goes this time period, like I said, going into that late Friday, all day Saturday, and maybe early Sunday. But like I said, we have to wait for the details to find themselves out. Now, what's going on in terms of our temperatures? Now, if you go on and push this forward right here, you can see all of these anomaly temperatures just show if it's above average, below average. And it looks like it's going to try and stay above average for the most part as we go into the beginning of the new year. We go all the way through January the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th. I mean, just look at how warm it's going to get as we go into the 11th here. You go all the way into the shaded temperatures right here. Look at how warm, up in the 70s. Mid 70s, upper 70s-ish. And so this will definitely be above average for January 11th here, 75. Now, if you continue this forward, we still have some warm air, but some cooler air will definitely be trying to move its way through as a little cold front might be trying to move through in like mid-January or so. But speaking of those cold fronts, here we go right here, going to the dew points. You can see definitely that warm air mass trying to move its way through here on the 3rd as that little system moves its way through. But then look at this cold air trying to come through right behind it, cooler and dry air trying to come through, at least trying to be cooler. But I don't know quite if that warm air is going to let it be too cool for long. But it definitely will bring in some more drier air. Bring this forward even more. There goes a little cold air blast trying to move its way through on January the 8th, the 9th a little bit. But again, like I said, with how those anomalies are looking, looks like it's mainly trying to stay warmer and dry instead. And then the big front that I'm looking at right here, this is on January the 12th. Some colder air definitely trying to move through here on January the 15th, going into like that middle part of January. So we'll get into that, especially as we get into, not tomorrow, but New Year's Day evening, on Thursday evening. So we'll talk about all of that. But that's all that I have in terms of the long-term future. Nothing else really for me to talk about. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, I believe Mr. Chris was here first tonight. He does in fact say, let me go and do this. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My Aunt Lula also says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Anthony also says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. So we have 3 good evenings in a row. Mr. Chris says, also, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also, share. It's free, and it helps the channel grow. Absolutely. Right now, again, 644, 46 subscribers. We are right now 4 subscribers away from that main halfway goal of 650. And we are 54 away from the main goal of 700. So let's continue to go on and push there. My Aunt Lewis says, I pray that everyone had a great day today. I did. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris says, current temperature here in Moncks Corner is around 30. Well, you already saw my temperatures earlier, around 32, about to drop down to 31 soon. My Aunt Lewis says, today in Georgetown it was chilly but sunny. Well, thank you so much for that weather report. My Aunt Shirley comes in and says, good evening and blessings to all. Well, thank you so much for that. Good evening to you. My Nana says, hello, a sort of cold but a bright sun shining day. Same thing from where I was. The sun was out, and didn't see any clouds at all, but it was definitely chilly. My Aunt Lewis says, today on my way to Conway today, the temperature was about 47 degrees, about 47. Makes sense. High temperatures went around in that high 40 ranges or so. Trail says, greetings everyone, greetings to you. Mr. Chris says, everyone please remember to stay warm tonight and check on the elderly and pets. Also drip your pipes if needed, absolutely. Trail says, cold here. Thank you so much for that weather report. And then Mr. Michael says, y'all enjoy a safe and happy new year. Well, thank you so much for that. And then my Aunt Lewis says, nephew, the reason the fire trucks were not for a brush fire because of the wind. An older woman kitchen caught on fire. She got out. Thank the Lord. Inside of her home is unlivable. Well, very, very sorry to hear that. But like I said yesterday, unless it was an inside fire, it had nothing to do with the weather. But if it was outside, possibly could have been due to the weather. But it was inside, so nothing to do with the weather at all. And then that's all that I can see here inside of the chat for tonight. So make sure that if you have not voted inside the poll, go in and vote right now. A good amount of people have voted. Speaking of, let me see how many likes we have. We have 16 people that have tuned in and only 8 likes so far. So if you're a part of that 8 that have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It's free and you can change your mind at any time. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the 3 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking 3 locations, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 3 areas, usually 4, but 3, is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and give them their weather forecast for them in their locations, not even the main one being talked about, but they still share and they still show their support. So we start off with Raleigh first. With low temperatures tonight at 26, high temperatures tomorrow at 50, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 34. Precipitation, not expected at this time. Not expected at this time. In terms of severe weather, excessive rainfall, you can probably guess that. But you do have a little bit of a fire risk, but no severe weather and no excessive rainfall. Now that fire risk is the same thing with South Carolina that we were just talking about for tonight going into tomorrow. Make sure if you're watching fireworks or if you're doing anything with fireworks at all tomorrow, make sure you're watching for it. And if you don't have to burn anything, that's also something else that I should have mentioned. If you don't have to burn anything as well, definitely don't burn anything if you don't have to. And it's not a must because that's something you should also probably try to avoid. Now, what's going on in terms of your future over there in terms of Raleigh? I mean, it looks like for the most part you're going to try and stay in the 50 range in terms of highs, lows. You know, you'll get down to 30 some, but for the most part it just seems like 50s for highs, 30s for lows, just as you continue your way through all the way throughout into next week. So you're going to be kind of just in the same pattern here. Then for Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, you have low temperatures tonight at 25, high temperatures tomorrow at 36, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 26. Precipitation, not expected tonight or tomorrow during the day, but tomorrow night, there is a chance of snow showers. Yes, chance of snow showers, a 40% chance of snow showers mainly after 1 o'clock in the morning. And so that's, something that's not really too shocking. I mean, your temperatures in terms of those high temperatures are really only going to be like in the 30s for the next 7 days. So it's going to continue to be cold over there, continue to be freezing at times. And so as you continue all the way through the next 7 days, snowfall, if any pop-up showers happen or anything like that, could potentially be snowfall, especially if it happens during the late night hours. No severe weather or no excessive rainfall for you. And then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, the last one with low temperatures tonight at 30, high temperatures tomorrow at 61, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 35. Precipitation, not expected at this time, but severe weather and excessive rainfall aren't either, but fire. There's also a fire risk for Duncan, Oklahoma as well. That is for tonight. It's going to go away, but for right now, elevated fire risk for tonight. And then after that, you're good. You're done with fire risk after. You're done with your fire risk after tonight. And that's all that I can see here in terms of these 4 areas. So let's go on now and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. An Alberta clipper will bring lake effect snow downwind of the Great Lakes, with the highest snow totals downwind of Lakes Erie and Ontario. Snow squalls may impact New Year's Eve travel during the evening and overnight hours across parts of the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. Heavy rainfall will bring flash flooding threat for Southern California on New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. So a lot of things going on. We will see some freezing temperatures as well, obviously, where we are, but not only us, but also inside of Florida, and not only down there inside of the Panhandle, Florida, but also maybe even down there as far south as like Fort Myers, Florida, as they're going to have temperatures down in the low 30s for some, mid 30s, and wind chills will be down in near like 28 to 34 degrees. So that's very, very, very just unusual for them to have that, and that's actually enough for them to get a cold weather advisory, which is pretty much one of the highest weather warnings you can get, except for a cold weather warning. But advisory is right there with it. But that's all I can see here in terms of the entire U.S. I don't see anything else really here. I did get an email. It was from a couple of days ago, so I do apologize for that. But it was from Thad, who sent in a picture. Let me see. He said, "A beautiful day. It was a gorgeous day here in San Antonio. We live several miles from the airport." In this picture, you can see how many airplanes just took off and landed. So here it is right here. If you want to go in and send a picture, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. So that is fantastic to see here. That he was having some nice weather when he did send this in. And that is all that I have to say. So, like I said, I'll be back tomorrow morning with your New Year's Eve forecast update. Remember what I said about the fire risk? If you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Like I said, right now, 16 people have tuned in and only 8 likes. So if you're part of the 8 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Also, if you have never hit the subscribe button before, go on and do so. We're at 646, trying to get to 700. And share with your friends, family members, acquaintances, and make sure that they subscribe to the channel. Don't just send in and be like, go on and subscribe, and then they actually never end up subscribing. Go on and share it and make sure that they subscribe to the channel. And that's all that I have to say. So I will be back, like I said, tomorrow. Make sure before you leave, you want to hit those 2 buttons. Top fans of the night tonight was Mr. Chris at number 1, my Outlaw at number 2, and then Trail at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for tonight.